This new action movie that accidentally made it into theaters and used mobile phones to shoot the movie has somehow landed a 94% rating. Bro, what? Let me expose the 5 secret strategies Monkey Man uses to earn this ranking and why your favorite action movie can never compete. Firstly, Monkey Man does a great job at pacing and keeping things fresh. A very common trap action movies fall into is that they overdo the fighting. Action movie directors think they can overload you with 2 hours of non-stop fighting without realizing just how boring and repetitive that can actually be. And so Dev Patel combats this boredom in 2 secret ways. Typical action movies sometimes force the energy too high for too long, but in Monkey Man, look at this insane fighting scene with Bollywood music blasting behind it. Everything is jumpy, hectic, loud, and then it all cuts. And it cuts right to a slow, peaceful environmental scene with young kid and mom. Bringing that high energy to a stop so fast like that was so engaging in the theaters, and I could tell everyone around me was just frozen shut. It was genuinely beautiful. And the director specifically putting a peaceful object here like the waterfalls was so strategically done to bring you that extra calm and just lower your energy right down. Secondly, the even larger way Monkey Man kept things fresh is by using various environments. The fights aren't all occurring in the same evil lab, but instead you're getting to see combats in the street of India, or maybe in an underground wrestling match, or maybe, let's not forget, the elegant office. And this obviously keeps us very engaged because it's like watching our video game character, a player we're playing, go through these different worlds and these new maps. It's so fun. And on top of that, if Monkey Man isn't changing the environment, they're changing the elements. And sometimes we aren't even just watching human fights, we're watching literal animal fights. It's so trippy and your mind is like, what am I even looking at this point? Oh my god, wait, and let's not forget how in the office there's like 8-9 of them dressed in like this Hindu attire and they're just fighting in that. Like that was so crazy. But now that we talked about things that are surrounding the fights, let's talk about the raw violence within the fights and why these violent scenes actually help the movie completely take off. Now, if you didn't know, Monkey Man fight scenes aren't simply scenes where like left hook, right hook, uppercut. It's not that. These are fight scenes where Monkey Man will literally come here, come close to you, and he will bite your lip off. And if Monkey Man wants access to a secret elevator that requires a thumbprint, you know, most other normal movies would simply get access to the thumbprint by like duplicating it onto a paper, but in Monkey Man, he just cuts the entire thumb off. He takes the thumb and we see it happen. But why is this level of gore so important? Well, it's because Monkey Man wants you to feel uncomfortable. The movie wants you to start side-eyeing it because it wants to make you feel something. If me and you sat down and watched 2 hours of the most beautifully written movie ever, but also watched another movie where the plot sucked, the characters sucked, but there were insanely graphic moments, after 2 weeks, guess which one you'll remember more? Just take a guess for me, sweetheart. That's what I thought. Holy moly donut shop! Holy moly donut shop! These viral moments are what's gonna make it blow up in the mainstream media and all over TikTok, all of that. And it's clear Dev Patel knew what he was doing here because him deciding to take this gore route in an action movie is just so rare and unheard of. Like usually you'll see this bloody demonic route in a horror or thriller movie. Kind of like the crazy horror movie with Sydney Sweeney we reviewed last week. That one was just insane. But let's move on to something even crazier. Let's talk about the cinematography. And I'm gonna warn you guys, here's where things get complicated. Scrolling deep into the internet, I found out that a lot went wrong during Monkey Man's shoot. One of these things were the fact that a lot of camera equipment broke down mid-shoot, so guess what they did? Like, no, I'm telling you, it's insane. Since they couldn't fly in other equipment, they were forced to use GoPros and mobile devices to shoot the movie. The movie was shot on literal cameras like this. And you can easily see this throughout the movie and why a lot of the scenes were shot in unique angles and higher zooms. And this had 2 outcomes. One of them was good, the other, In the fight scenes, this was actually a very big advantage because as you can see, it made them so much more engaging. Probably some of the best POVs I've ever seen. Cameras are so shaky, which made it engaging. They're so close up and intimate, it makes it look like I'm getting punched. Like, I love it. But aside from the fights, I'd say these GoPro mobile phones made them overuse zooms in so many scenes where it just wasn't needed. And I remember them specifically doing this in the kitchen scenes a ton, which just made me feel so claustrophobic and just so congested. It turned me away. And like I said before, any type of reaction is a good reaction. Even me feeling uncomfortable by it It's great. If you choose to go and watch the movie, this unique type of shooting will certainly grab your attention. But now, before we move on to the next point you definitely didn't think about, Dev Patel personally reached out to me and asked me to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. I swear he said it. Oh my god, oh my. The next point I want to talk about is Monkey Man having a super simple plotline. It's so crucial for an action movie to have a simple plotline, and here's the strange reason why. The definition of action movies is to engage viewers using impactful action scenes, which means having too many plot lines is especially bad for action movies, because if the movies are action packed and you're continuously staring at action, it's impossible for your brain to think about the plot. Imagine you're watching a 4-minute fighting scene where loud guns are blazing back and forth, boom, 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 boom. It would be impossible for you to watch that while also thinking of and making sense of the plotline you uncovered 20 minutes ago, which is why investigative and crime movies are so different and allow for a more complicated plot, because they're literally so slow paced, which gives your mind room to think. Now that you understand this key concept, here's how Monkey Man pulls it off perfectly. It does it by keeping the plot the most simple and basic generic thing you've ever heard of. The main plot being the main character gets revenge on his mother's killer. That's it. Monkey Man is able to use such a simple plot and add so many cool elements to it to make it a masterpiece. But on top of keeping it very simple and easy to follow along, Dev Patel takes it a step further by revealing the story to you in very gradual flashbacks. This is so smart because it keeps you watching so you can uncover the next flashback. Without spoiling anything, we keep getting flashbacks of this one mystery night. But what actually happened on this night, we won't know until we keep watching and we get those 3 seconds of I see a name tag, or I see blood, whoa, you get what I'm saying? And you tie all of this in with unique Hindu symbolism, and it's a recipe for curiosity. Like, I'm gonna be fully honest, I personally didn't understand half the symbols, but that was totally fine because that's what made me so curious. Like, why is there a random mango in the beginning of the movie, and how does it tie to these Hindu gods? Like there was the flashback of his childhood, such as his mother telling him stories, the police raiding his land, and if you loved how bloody and raw this movie was, you're definitely gonna love last week's movie review with Sydney Sweeney in it, and here's some other random video. Make sure you subscribe. I love you, baby boys. Mujhe tumse pyar hai.